this is America's favorite team. You know, you always hear the Dallas Cowboys, America's favorite team. That's not true. This is America's favorite team, the New England Patriots.
Oh,
Womp, womp,
Man.
Cam Newton listed as number 1 on the depth chart. Is that official?
Wait, what did you say, Joe?
Who is?
Cam
So
Newton.
so these depth charts are from ESPN.com. I don't think they're not from the team websites.
Yeah.
So but they get as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
But I have been saying Cam Newton's going to be the starter in my opinion.
100%.
Yeah.
I would
I'm
agree
waiting
with that.
to announce it to make it real, guys.
Mhm.
It's the Patriots, but not.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer spent some time with the Pats, and I kind of thought, Belichick might go with someone he knows and show, hey, Brady, it's not you, it's my system. And Hoyer knows the system. So that's good to see, though. Newton's far superior talent.
Yeah, so I guess we can start there, guys, because I think the success of this team, as we've talked about before, doesn't really depend on the quarterback play, even though Tom Brady was great for so many years. This is Bill Belichick's team, as Joe mentioned last week. Insert Cam Newton, say goodbye to Tom Brady. It's a new era here. However, there are still some of the same old role players that are hanging around, including, let's start with our wide receivers, Julian Edelman. What are we thinking about Julian Edelman this year?
I don't like him. I don't really like him because I feel like Tom Brady looked for him a lot, and Cam usually makes like one read only, and so if the play's not designed for Edelman, he won't get the ball.
Yeah, that is a good point. And honestly, the reason why I say this is because it's a perfect transition into my probably sleeper of the year in N'Keal Harry. The guy is virtually going undrafted right now as the wide receiver, or in the 15th round, at basically the start of the 16th round. And this is clearly speculation, but Cam Newton needs to establish a connection with someone other than probably James White, which we are all pretty likely he will have to start the year. But he's got to have a connection with one of these two wide receivers. And I love the upside of N'Keal Harry. Given his value, Edelman is going currently in the 8th round. I think there are better options there. And we might even do some keep trade cut in a second here. But what do you guys think about N'Keal Harry? He didn't play much last year. He only played in, I think, 6 or 7 games, and he was not utilized very much. But is it his time to shine?
Yeah, he was injured to start the year.
He was injured most of the year.
I think Edelman's going to be solid. I think he's draftable, obviously. I think he's going to be a decent flex play, but he's not going to be one of your starting wide receivers, I don't think. But I do think Edelman's still going to be solid, especially in PPR. It's N'Keal Harry, and he's I don't know, man. I never know with freaking Belichick, dude. It's if N'Keal Harry was on any other team, they would be grooming him to be their future wide receiver. But I don't know with Belichick, and I think Sanu is actually going to provide some value there too.
Absolutely.
So who knows?
Yeah, those are good points. And I mentioned keep trade cut. So like last week, I'll give each of you guys an option pertaining to Julian Edelman, and we'll see what you guys do. All of these guys are going virtually around the same place in drafts. Joe, I'll start with you. Julian Edelman or Brandon Cooks?
Edelman.
Ooh, very nice. Damon, Julian Edelman or Jarvis Landry?
Edelman.
Very good. And last but not least, Jacob, Julian Edelman or Michael Gallup?
Damn. That's so tough. If there was no CeeDee Lamb, I would say Gallup hands down. But I'm still gonna I'm gonna go Edelman.
What about you guys? That seems to be the toughest one. Edelman there too?
Yeah.
So
I go Gallup.
Oh, Gallup in that situation? All right, awesome. Well, it seems like even though, except with that outlier, Julian Edelman is still someone worthy of an 8th round pick, considering those are the wide receivers that are going around him. I just don't necessarily think I like him that much this year. Jacob had mentioned it. He was so dependent, or I think Damon did, so dependent on Tom Brady, and Tom Brady depended on him as well. But there's change a brewing, right? And that's Cam Newton. So with that being said, I love the value of N'Keal Harry. However, this is strictly speculation. As far as Edelman is concerned, though, if he's there, you guys are picking him up, right?
Guys, I think you might have gone a little far the opposite way. I came in thinking I didn't like him that much because I thought he was a 6th or 7th round pick. Hearing that he's an 8th round pick, I love him, actually. I still think he's a solid player, guys. And yeah, Cam Newton is not Tom Brady, but at this point in his career, is his play style going to be kind of the same in the sense that he's not going to be looking for deep bombs all game. He's going to be looking for that guy who constantly gets open, and that's Julian Edelman. He gets open more than anybody. Just like CMC, he puts himself in a position to catch the ball. And I actually I saw this morning reading, I completely spaced that Mohamed Sanu was a Patriot. And I like him a lot. He's like, dude, that guy every year, doesn't matter if he's wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, he always makes an impact. And he becomes fantasy relevant to the point where you can plug him in your flex on bye weeks, and he's going to get you 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points in PPR. I actually like looking at this, and I think that the Patriots offense might surprise some people with White, Burkhead, Edelman, Sanu, and Harry if he does anything this year. I like this.
Yeah, I think there's a chance Sanu might be his favorite target as wide receivers go. I think there's a chance because doesn't Sanu play in, or Edelman plays in the slot too, but doesn't Sanu play in the slot a lot or no?
Let's look.
Well, in when he was on the Falcons, right? I think he was playing in the slot a lot on the Falcons. So we'll see. I do think, I think James White, Edelman, and Sanu are going to get a lot of targets and a lot of receptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as much as we always like to talk about the Patriots, their fantasy success is very up and down because of how much they spread the ball. But you bring up really good points, Joe. I mean, I hate to say it as the host of the show, but goodness gracious, I forgot about Mohamed Sanu too, and how many times he won me weeks, like literally 2 or 3 years ago. So he's been relevant. He is relevant, and I think he will be relevant this year. So good thing to mention. Let's move on to the running backs. We've been talking about James White.
Here we go.
And everybody's favorite running back, or should I say Jacob's favorite running back, Sony Michel.
Sony Michel. My ride or die.
We said that we would dive a little bit deeper into it this week. I guess we can start off by saying, who are you taking? James White in the 7th, virtually the 8th round, or Sony Michel in the 10th round? Who do we got?
Well, James White, easies.
I'm still, look, I know I took the over on whatever, I think, what was it? 700 yards and
Sony Michel is going to finish over 900 yards and 7.
Was it 900?
Yeah, that's what he's done the last 2 years, 900.
Oh, damn. I mean, that's even surprising. We've been like talking so much crap about him. Like, I just think it's lower, but I'm still taking James White over him. Especially we all play in PPR, minimum half PPR. If the only way you even think about taking Sony Michel over him is non PPR. And then okay, but I'm still taking James White all day.
Guys, I hate this backfield. Like, I don't think there's a backfield in the league that I might hate more. Damian Harris was a 3rd round pick as far as fantasy. Damian Harris was a 3rd round pick last year. And he might be coming for Michel's job.
He was the 3rd round pick in real football, right?
Yeah, not in fantasy.
Yeah.
Year, but in real life, he was a 3rd round pick, and
I know, it's crazy.
And Belichick will put you in a doghouse for a fumble, and
exactly
it could be like Burkhead, like you just never know.
You know what sucks about that is that kind of he probably like doesn't give guys a chance to even have a career because they never play in New England and then they just disappear.
Yeah. Well, I think James White is obviously hands down. He's gonna have a role. He's trusted by.
He's the
And his role, I think, is the most different from the rest of those guys. He's strictly a pass back. where Rex Burkhead kind of does both. And he's had big games where he has a couple of touchdowns and he could catch the ball and run the ball. I think Harris and Michelle are mostly known as just grinders. They run the ball. So White is obviously the safest one out of all those picks, but I'm not going to be surprised if Sonny Michel loses his job, like Damon says, over something crazy, and Damian Harris is the lead back there and has at least a good 8 weeks over there.
Yeah, I'm not against. I like Damian Harris. I held him as a handcuff a lot last year because I had White and Michelle. Mm-hmm. So but you never know with the Pats.
Yeah.
That is true. You never know with the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. Last option here, Cam Newton. We talked about him a little bit. How can you not? He is currently going in the 13th round. Are any of you interested in possibly making him a starter right out of the gate?
No.
That was quick.
No. He's not a starter for fantasy. No, I wouldn't. Come on.
I tried to slide that in there.
Cam Newton, I think we're going to either see a boom or bust season. We don't know how he is after his major injury. We have not seen him back on the field. We don't know if he can play a full season, and we don't know how he's going to do under Belichick's system. So you're definitely not drafting him as your starter, but I love drafting him. Guys, I remember a few years ago, Cam Newton was like unanimous after Brady, after Rodgers. That was Cam Newton. Everybody
he was number one for at least for 1 year. He was number one. And honestly, our friend Don took him in the first round, which was obviously ridiculous. But if you think about it, that's what casual fans were thinking of him, that he was worthy of that. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say he had the Mahomes stigma about him, but he was up there as like, you have to have Cam Newton. He's going to win you weeks. And he would win you weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Ground,
so he looks so bad. He throws the ball like 50 yards in the air, like straight up in the air, not down the field.
That is true. Damon brought up his accuracy issues last episode.
I want him to have success, but you're taking him as a backup quarterback. And if he does blow up, you made a great 15th round pick. And if he doesn't, then so what? You drop him by week 3.
That's true. And he's also a pretty good waiver wire option there to start the season.